Hello, everyone. Hope you guys have written answers to today's questions. And I also hope that you guys are learning something from the session that is going on. And please write the answer and get it evaluated on Collector Babu. So, as we know that today's topic was disaster management from GS3 paper. Hopefully, you guys have gotten some idea as to how to approach it. And please do check the model answers that is also uploaded on the description section of the YouTube video itself. And try to get your answer evaluated. It will be beneficial for you. Disaster management is something that is only main specific. So please study and write answer for disaster management right now, because once you start prelims preparation, you won't be getting enough time to be writing answers for disaster management. I hope it is clear. So let us begin today's question. Describe, and one more thing I would like you guys to observe is how in the disaster management question, generally we get 15 marker question, because as has the trend been observed. So for disaster management, you will need to write 3 pages. Also, as I will be discussing the model answer, I will give you some specific pointers as to how to include value additions in your answer, which will fetch you more marks. Okay, so landslide. For this question, describe the various causes and effects of landslide. Mention components of important. Mention important. Okay, so we have made some mistake here. Okay, mention important components of the National Landslide Risk Management Strategy. Okay, so it is a 15 marker. We'll get 3 pages. We can begin with a definition of landslide. It is a mass wasting or downward slope movement of soil rock under the direct influence of gravity. And you can also write it is exacerbated by rainfall. And you can also focus that point in the introduction. And because we are discussing the causes and effects of landslide, so we can discuss it there itself. I have given many points and classified it as geological, anthropological. Okay, so you don't need to give as many points, but you can just pick up some of the points from my answer, or you can write your own points. For example, you can make a heading of geological factors, and then you can just write 2 points, because the question is a fairly big one, but it is just for your reference. Here, what you can do is you can give an example of Wayanad landslides 2024, and also do one thing that, wait, I'll annotate. So yeah, what we are going to do. So suppose this is your paper, this is your answer sheet. So after writing introduction and example, on the right side, make a small map of India, and mark landslide zones. Okay, so I'm drawing from mouse, so it is not very clear, but mark the major landslide zone given by Landslide Atlas of India. So please do this. This is like very important. You have to do this. Okay. So, okay. Now let's see what more we can write. Now we are discussing with the causes of landslide. So what are the factors contributing? So we can just write causes and also write factors contributing, while both would mean the same. First is geological factors. You can give 2 points and an example. Type of soil and rock, how parent rock and the loose rock and the soil characteristic, it increases landslide susceptibility. Okay, you can talk about slope angle, you can talk about slope stability. Either of the 3 would work, either of the 2 would work. And you have to definitely give an example. Okay, wait a minute, let me just erase this. Okay, so now we'll talk about some other natural factors. For example, heavy rainfall. Okay, volcanic activities can also trigger landslide, as we have already learned how volcanic activities trigger earthquakes, and it could trigger landslides as well, because the rock would fall under the influence of gravity. Then again, snow melt. See, so 1, 2, 3, 4, you can write any 2 points and an example. It is enough. Human factors, talk about deforestation, mining, construction, etc. Okay, and here give some examples. There are plenty of landslide example from Himalayan region to the Kerala region. You will get plenty of examples. Okay, so now we'll talk about effects of landslide. Again, write 3 or 4 points here, because you have to um, get this part done in within 1.5 pages, or 1.75 pages, and the rest 1.25 pages you will have to discuss the landslide risk management strategy plus conclusion. And you also have to understand that we have made a map as well in our real answer sheet, so we won't be getting the luxury to write a lot of points. So you can write 4 points, 3 points here. Effect: loss of life can cause fatalities, damage to property, infrastructure, environmental damage. You can also actually use these subheading, these as points, and write 1 or 2 subpoints under this. For example, in environmental damage, you can talk about soil erosion, and you can also bring an economical angle where you can tell about loss of agricultural land. Okay, so as we have talked about loss of vegetation. Okay, these are some of the effects of landslide we'll be talking about. You can talk more, and here loss of life, you can give example of the recent figures from the Wayanad landslide. Okay, these are some of the approaches you can follow in writing effects. Disaster management is a fairly straightforward question if it is something to deal with any disaster. When we'll take up the later session of disaster management, we'll see how the question is also to analyze a lot of things which are not directly related to any disaster, but the basic approach to disaster management. And for that, you need to know certain reports by ARC on the disaster management framework. You also need to know about Sendai guidelines. For example, this year the question came from Sendai framework. So these are some of the 2 important documents which you need to know. And thirdly, go to NDMA website and you will find disaster specific guidelines given by the government. Also, you will be able to find how disaster management framework and policy is made and taken into account by the government. Are we clear with this? So, National Landslide Risk Management Strategy, we can just write down 4 or 5 points. It talks about hazard assessment. And one more thing I would want you guys to observe is, see, the risk management strategy, whether it's for landslide, whether it's for cloud burst, whether it's for earthquake, mostly the risk management part will remain the same. Mostly you will observe this. There will be a public awareness part, there will be an early warning system part, there will be a risk mapping part, there will be a hazard assessment part. Okay, so you need to understand that you have to make it context specific by adding another line to connect it with the main point. For example, if it's hazard management assessment, then you have to talk about how hazard assessment is the first part in developing a landslide atlas, okay, or a landslide risk management strategy. So these are the subpoints will remain same when we talk about the guidelines and we talk about the strategy to approach the disaster management for that particular disaster better. Hopefully you're getting my points. For example, public education and awareness, it will be the same whether it's flooding, landslide, etc. So we'll talk about early warning system, we'll talk about land use planning. And for the early warning system, in the landslide part itself, I would suggest you guys, if you're watching this video, and I hope that you guys are watching videos so that you get some extra benefit, which you won't just get by writing answers, but getting a step more involved in how to approach it. So here we can talk about, I'll give you a specific example. Snake model of Brazil is an early warning system by Brazil for landslide mitigation strategy. Okay, so this is it. We'll write example. Hopefully you guys note it down. It will be beneficial. And for other such models, the other approaches, Google it, and you will be able to find many other such early warning system models, okay, for disaster specific. In the NDMA guideline, in the Sendai framework, you will get other suggestions as well, okay. And the conclusion will be fairly simple, how we have to implement such hazard assessment strategies, risk mapping in early warning, and how it will be beneficial in landslide, in managing landslide, okay. It's a 15 marker, this is enough. If you want furthermore, if you want to write a bit more, some 2 or 3 points, you can further include way forward, and you can talk about how slope fencing and triggering landslides beforehand of small shocks would be beneficial, and that would complete the answer. Hopefully that is clear. And now let us discuss the second question. The frequency of urban floods due to high intensity rainfall is increasing over the years. Discuss the reasons for urban floods. Highlight the mechanisms for preparedness to reduce the risk during such events. So, it's a 12.5 marker because during 2016 mains, and even before that, all the question consisted of 12.5 marker, okay. So we'll be writing 200 words, and it would have been 2.5 pages, but let's write how much we can write here so that we get the points. What we have to write here, okay, frequency of urban floods due to high intensity rainfall is increasing over the years. So we will be putting this part as the introduction, how urban floods are caused due to high intensity rainfall, okay. And we have to analyze how urbanization is responsible for it. In the introduction part we'll put it. Now the second part is reasons for urban flood, okay. We'll be giving causes for urban floods and reasons, both are the same. Then we will talk about the preparedness initiative to reduce such risk events, same as I have talked about in the earlier question. What will be the preparedness structure? All this hazard assessment, zone mapping, or the early use planning, or you can give certain committee recommendation like Mihir Shah committee or blue green infrastructure. Try to include committee name wherever possible, okay. So that will be beneficial for you to gain a few marks extra. So that will be the mechanism. See, urban planning, zoning, drainage improvement, infrastructure, and another way to approach preparedness is to actually follow Sendai framework suggestion, which is to divide it into structural and non-structural solutions. Okay, so what are structural solutions? When we create certain structures and infrastructure, that will be called as structural solution. For example, building dams or building huge embankments, that will be the structural solution. And non-structural solution would be creating riparian buffer, okay. Non-structural solution would be water harvesting. These are non-structural solutions, okay, or cleaning of the sewer storm drains. These will be the non-structural solutions. That is also another way to approach this. And for the mechanism of preparedness, even this would work. And let's approach. See, again, in disaster management question, you can and you should definitely include maps. So here again, we'll be making a map. Okay, let's see. Here on the right hand side, we'll be making a map, and we'll make a map of India, and we will highlight some famous incidents of urban flooding recently. We can talk about Delhi Gurugram floods, okay. We'll talk about Chennai floods, we'll talk about Bangalore floods. Here we'll make some points, and we can just highlight just Chennai floods, etc., etc. We can write, this is the map we will be using. It's a very terrible looking map, but in exam we'll be making better because we'll not be making maps using mouse, okay. So this is it. Hopefully it is clear. And also you can use data. For example, you can talk about how 12% of the entire Indian landscape is vulnerable to floods. That is also something that you could include. So here we are talking about the India's projected population increasing to 40% by 2030. This emphasizes how it is important to to tackle the challenge of flood, because urbanization and increasing population there is playing a unique economic role. We'll talk about causes, which will be rapid urbanization, climate change, deforestation, poor drainage system, encroachment of water bodies, for example, killing of all the lakes. For example, in Bangalore, which was called City of Lakes at a time, now all the lakes have been killed. So, killed, and they have been reclaimed, so to say, and which has resulted in, on the one hand, water crisis, as we read about Bangalore water crisis during March April time, and on the other hand, we also read about floods, urban floods, because they are not there to be protecting and acting as a riparian buffer. These are some of the strategy, and then we'll talk about mechanism of preparedness, as we have already talked about how we'll be approaching this emergency response plan. We can talk about certain technological interventions. For example, in the early warning system, this is again a benefit only the people who attend session they'll be getting. We can talk about inflows by Maharashtra government and Tamil Nadu government. They have initiated the inflow system as early warning system, Okay, inflows. And for Bihar, the government has introduced the Befikr app. Okay, and for state specific, you can talk about Befikr app by Bihar government. Okay, now this is it. Conclusion: focusing on urban planning, improved drainage infrastructure, etc. These will be helpful. Okay. Now we'll talk about the causes and effects of coastal erosion in India. What are available coastal management techniques for combating hazard? Okay, coastal management technique. So now we have understood fairly well what we'll be talking about. We're talking about the percentage of the coastline that is vulnerable to coastal erosion. Okay. And the second part we'll be dealing is how to then we'll talk about the cause, then we'll talk about the effects, and then we'll talk about the management techniques. See, this is how I'll be approaching. But again, I have given plenty of points. You do not need to write so many. You just write 2 points or 3 points under each subhead, and it will be more than enough. Try to give as many examples as possible. You can use this data. Our National Institute of Oceanography, around 33% of Indian coastline is affected by varying degree of erosion. Again, here you can make a diagram. And what will be your diagram? You can actually draw two diagrams here. First, you will draw a map of India, and you will outline the coastline and how certain part of coastline is very vulnerable to the coastal erosion, particularly this Andhra Pradesh part, etc. You'll talk about it. Okay. And then, and because in the reason part we have written what are the reasons, so you don't need to mark it in the map. And second, what you will be doing is you can actually explain the mechanism of coastal erosion. But because this is not a geography paper, and if you do not have much time, don't draw this second part. But the first part is absolutely necessary. Hopefully you get it, and hopefully you understand it clearly. So let us understand this. Causes of coastal erosion, again, natural causes, sea level rise, etc. We have some of the human activities. Just pick 2 points from each and write your answer. Give example. Cyclone and storm surges, tides, currents. Okay, wave action. These are all the natural causes. Sea level rise or the climate change. You can write here as the subheading. You can talk about global warming impact, or you can talk about vulnerability of coastal area because they are low-lying region becoming more prone to flooding and erosion. Okay. Now you can actually talk about human activities, dredging operation for port management and port maintenance, and disruption of sediment transport by construction project. Okay, give examples like Goa. Give example of other port like Kandla port, or the port that is being constructed in Kerala. Now we'll talk about the effects of coastal erosion. Loss of land and infrastructure. Give certain points like disrupt industry reliant on stable coastlines such as tourism and fishing. You will talk about agriculture, how it impacts livelihood. We'll talk about fishing, how it impacts the livelihood. ecosystem destruction of mangrove, coral reef damage, seabed depletion, loss of biodiversity. Pick any 1 or 2 points and it will suffice. Or you can actually do a better thing, which is make 2 points, combining all of them. So you have managed your space and you have actually made a lot of points in your answer. Then increased vulnerability to natural disaster, cyclone impact, storm surge amplification, tsunami risk, and community engagement, like coastal resident face higher risk, and how it has increased the vulnerability to natural disaster. So this is also a part of impact itself, right? Now it becomes a challenge in implementing mitigation measures. Now the third part, which is, see, from here to here, hopefully you observe this. We are just talking about the effects of coastal erosion. You don't need to write this much. This is just for your reference. Either combine a lot of points or pick any 2 or 3 points per subhead, two, maximum two if there are more number of points, three, and then write your answer. If you have never written a disaster management answer, then refer to the model answer, write it, get it evaluated, because only then you will be able to understand where all you could have used a different data. Okay, hopefully you're understanding it. Now there's coastal management techniques. Beach nourishment, obviously, coastal armoring using structures like seawalls and breakwater, which are very important aspects for coastal erosion management. Dune restoration, how they will act as barriers against wave energy and storm surges. Okay, and allowing the natural processes to occur without compromising human safety, where people are removed from those coastal area, which is retreat. Okay, and integrated coastal management. We can talk about, in conclusion, how eco-sensitive zone or coastal regulatory zone, etc., will help protect maritime protected areas and also restore the coastal environment. Hopefully, you have understood what we're talking about here. Okay, and we need to keep on writing answers so that when in the end we do not face much problem when the time comes to study exclusively for prelims. Hopefully, you have understood what you guys are supposed to do. And please follow the initiative. Please follow the YouTube videos. If you have any kind of doubt, please write down your doubts, share it with your friends. And if you know somebody who has just started answer writing, they can get their answer evaluated for free for these specific questions on Collector Babu. And hopefully, you guys appreciate the session. And if there are any constructive feedback, please feel free to leave the comments below. And also the next session, which will be on Wednesday, it will be on ethics, GS4 again. So hopefully you guys will write answers. All right, take care.